Isn't that such a pretty combo? I love it. Hi guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're talking new makeup. And I'm Jazz. We're talking what's on my face today. We did a full face of some good stuff and some stuff that might not work for everyone, but I feel like can work for some. I would love to know down below what new products, it doesn't have to be makeup, that you want me to review, maybe some dupes that you want me to find. Let me know down below. And yeah, let's jump right into the video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this full face of new makeup. New makeup, let's jump right in. I'm excited. We have brows on already because we don't have a new brow product today. So we're gonna start with complexion. And we have this from Merit Beauty. It is their new tinted SPF, and I got the shade 14 in this one. I'm going to swatch it next to the foundation stick just because I know a lot of people that follow me here are my same complexion. So I'm going to do a little thing on the back of my hand of the foundation concealer stick. I wear the shade Buff in this one. And let's do a little bit of the tinted SPF so that you guys can see. I do find them not to be kind of a perfect match, but that's okay. And this is the difference between the two shades. So this is the foundation stick and this is the tinted SPF. So definitely not a perfect match, but the shade does end up working. The shade 14 is a little bit dark for what I am right now because I'm not tan in any way. I am quite pale, but for summertime, it would be a good shade match. Now, this is a tinted SPF, which means it's like a true sunscreen and meant to be worn like a true sunscreen. The amount of product that you need to wear for a true like sunscreen is more than you would be applying, let's say, a skin tint or a foundation. I'm gonna say this, when I apply the amount that I need for it to be like a true sunscreen and really protect my skin, I don't love this product because I find that it just looks really textured by the end of the day. And I do feel like it's because I'm applying so much of the product. I'm gonna apply it just kind of, I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna apply not quite as much as I would because it is gonna look a little bit, my skin just doesn't love it. Okay, can I get this? So we have about this much on my fingers. I would apply more, but I do find that when I do that, I just am not loving the way that it makes my skin look. So I did expect, so this is the shade, it's definitely dark for me right now. I did expect this to kind of feel a little bit more lightweight. To me, it feels more like a true cream. And I was kind of hoping that it would feel a little bit more lightweight on the skin. So I'll just put this all over. And then I'm gonna blend with my fingers because with sunscreen, no one's really blending with a brush, but you can blend with a brush and it's nice. I do find with a brush at the beginning, it can get a little bit streaky. But this isn't a terrible shade match. And again, once I am more on the tan side, it will definitely be a better match. But for right now, it isn't great, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And so again, I like to blend this with my fingers if I'm going to wear it as a true SPF, because that's how I would apply any other, even other tinted SPF. This is, again, a little bit on the, it's not thick, but thicker than what I was thinking, because in the description, it did say that it was more of a lightweight product. Now, what I find with the product, I find that it's very interesting. So I have combo skin, so my T-zone does get oily. I do have sometimes a little bit of texture from dryness on my face. And what I found is when you first apply it, it looks nice. It's not super dewy. It does have some dew to it though. Even on the areas of my face that are a little bit more on the normal, maybe skewing a little bit on the dry side, especially with my eczema that might kind of be on my face. It, still shows up a little bit dewy, but it isn't anything crazy. By the end of the day though, I do find that it kind of breaks apart in my T-zone. And strangely, this is a weird thing with this product. I find that by the end of the day, not initially it's stunning, perfect, amazing. It looks so good. By the end of the day, it does cling to some of my texture, and it does kind of enhance areas that wouldn't be enhanced anyway, like normally, making it look more textured. So I think that this is going to work for some people, but not for all. And if I had to kind of compare it to the Merit Beauty Foundation Concealer Stick, if I had to pick between the two, I definitely would just go with the Merit Beauty Foundation Concealer Stick. Because I need to apply so much of this, I don't, as like a true sunscreen, I like to wear it as more of a skin tint and wear a sunscreen underneath it. Because I just find that when I have to apply a lot of it, I really am not liking how my skin is looking by the end of the day, but also sometimes it does cling to some stuff depending on where my skin is kind of at, where my texture's at, all of that. Now, in comparison to the Versed, their skin tint SPF, because they are owned by the same or founded by the same founder, so I want to make sure that I mention the Versed one. I prefer the Versed. It just has a little bit more lightweightness to it. It doesn't really cling for me. This one, if I had to grab one of the two, I would grab the Versed one. This is definitely going to work for some people. And when my skin is in like a really, really good spot, or don't have any kind of dryness, or maybe areas of my face that are a little bit more textured, I do find that this has been nice on those days, but on days where maybe my eyes were really weepy, so I do have a little bit more dryness around my eyes and kind of in this area of my face, I do find that this isn't my favorite. I wouldn't grab it all the time, but it is really nice. It's just, it kind of depends on where your skin is at. This is one that if you can get a sample and test it, I would do that, because I do really think that this isn't going to work for everyone. It is beautiful. It does. I mean, the finish is so stunning. You have to let me know what you think of it if you have tried it. Because I find that it depends on the day for me, on if it's going to work for me. And if I had to pick, again, between the Versed and the Merit, I would go with the Versed and just wear sunscreen underneath it. With the Merit, I like to wear sunscreen underneath it and not have to apply like a whole boatload to kind of really give me the sun protection that I want. I also don't know if I mentioned the SPF on this. This is an SPF of 45, I believe. Okay, I cannot read that. Yeah, SPF of 45. And yeah, overall, it is a nice product. It's just not going to work for everyone's skin type, so it's definitely worth getting a little sample and trying it out. Anyways, I digress. Now we're going to go and put on some concealer on my under eyes really quick. So this is the Sarah Creel concealer. I love this. And I'm just going to put a little bit here. I'm going to let this sit for about a minute and a half and then blend it out. So give me a minute and we'll be right back. Concealer sat long enough. We're going to blend it out with this brush here, and I'm just going to kind of tap it in. Concealer's blended. Now we're going to move on to bronzer, and we're going to use the Sarah Creel bronzer. I am in the shade 2 in this. And I really like this product. It is so nice. So I'm going to just actually take a little bit on the back of my hand. If you like a no makeup look, this is a really nice bronzer for that, because it shears out really nicely. This is what the shade 2 looks like, and I'm going to take this brush here, dip in, and just lightly pack it on the face. I don't want to get too bronzed up because this shade is a little bit dark for me, the skin tint, so I don't want to overdo the bronziness and then end up looking a little crazy. I'm going to bring whatever's left on the brush down on my nose so that we can kind of have a full cohesive makeup look. I really like the way that this bronzer sits. This is a really good no makeup bronzer. Now we're going to move on to our new shade of a blush. One we've talked about before, but it's a new shade. This is from Bloom Effects, and this is their lip and cheek kind of tint. And this is in the prettiest shade. What is it? Coral? Crispa Coral. It's so, look at that shade. I'm gonna do a nice little swatch on the back of my hand for you. It is so pretty. I feel like this shade in summer, it's so cute. I'm gonna dip in with this brush here. This is from Hourglass. This is my favorite blush brush right now, and I'm gonna just lightly kind of build it up. I really, look how pretty that is. I really like this blush because it is another really good no makeup blush, but the way it melts into the skin is so stunning. It isn't the most long lasting. I mean, it's still on by the end of the day, but there are kind of blushes that last a little bit longer because this does have some dew to it, but I do really like it. And it just melts into the skin so stunningly. And if you're the type of person that likes when makeup really doesn't look like makeup and it just has kind of a flush of color, this formula is great. It's so pretty. I'm going to blend the edges in with this brush here just so that everything is very cohesive. Blush is blended. What do you guys think of the shade? It's so pretty. The Bloom Effects blushes, they just give such a youthful, healthy complexion. And again, it's not the most long-lasting blush by any means, but it's still on by the end of the day. And if I do kind of set it with powder or setting spray, I'm kind of good to go. And I don't really have to worry about it, but it is a little bit more dewy. But not dewy where you look wet, but just dewy, if that makes sense. It's a little bit more, has a little bit more of a sheen. It's so pretty though. We're gonna move on to our new highlighter, and I was really excited to get my hands on this. This is from Sarah Creel. This is their new highlighter, and they actually sent me all the shades so that I can do swatch for you guys. And let me show you the shades here. They're really, really pretty. So let's do it. So this one here, we're gonna start with the darkest one, is the shade Op-Ed. And then the next one I'm gonna swatch for you is Extra Extra. This is such a pretty shade. I actually really enjoy the variety of shades in the highlighter because I feel like a lot of the time they don't have a lot of options. So this is Op-Ed. This is Extra Extra. Then we have this one here, which is the lightest shade. This just in, it's very pretty. And that is this shade here. I hope you can see. It's light, but it is not so light that it kind of will look like white out or too highlighty, if that makes sense. It is a nice light shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with this just in because this is just my highlighter vibe. I love shades like this. And I'm going to kind of tap it. Look how pretty that is. Do you see? I hope you can tell how, like, it's so beautiful. These are very, if you've touched the bronzers, it has a similar texture to it. It is just so pretty. I just love it. And I realized, I feel like the swatches I did were not very good. So I'm going to swatch them on the front of my hand so that you get a better kind of view of the sheen that you get. Here we go. So this is all 3 shades, and look at that sheen. It is just so natural, so pretty. It's a really true no makeup sheen. I think if you have oily skin, this product might not work that well for you because it does have more of a slip, a little bit more of a serum-y feel to it, and it is dewy, but it is just so gorgeous. I don't find that it clings to any of my dryness. I don't find that even in my T-zone where I am oily, I don't find that by the end of the day, that it's fully gone. It is still there on my skin. However, it does fade because it is kind of a thinner consistent, let's see. But I don't find that I feel like my nose looks extremely oily or anything. It kind of just looks like it would with any other cream highlighter. But it is so stunning. I'm like obsessed with how natural and pretty it looks, especially for when I want a true no makeup look. And I feel like this will work for a lot of people. I mean Sarah Creel in general is kind of made for more mature skin, kind of that 40 plus skin. And so I think a lot of people who are in that kind of category but also want a highlighter, but they find that highlighters kind of cling, this would be a really nice highlighter. I don't find that it clings to anything. It's super hydrating. And these 2 shades, the Tan Extra Extra and Op-Ed, I'm obsessed with these, and I have people that I'm gonna give these to. They are so stunning. But I'd love to know down below, are these highlighters that interest you? Have you tried them? Or are you more of a kind of not cream, you like something that's more of a liquid or a powder highlight, let me know down below. Anyways, I digress. Now we're going to move on to the eyes, and I'm going to actually take the bronzer I used. This is again the shade 2, and I'm going to put it all over my lid. I really like the shade on my lid. Look how pretty that is. It's just so pretty. It's one that I've been grabbing a lot for just on my lid when I want just a little bit of something, but I don't want to go with a full kind of eyeshadow or anything like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit on this brush here and pull it on my lower lash line and then kind of flick it up. Now I'm going to set my face. I'm going to take the Amicole setting powder, and I'm just going to set my under eyes, and I'm also going to set my lid before I go on with eyeliner or anything like that. But since we're, oh, a dog hair in my eye. Do you feel like, if you have pets, do you feel like your dog's hair or pet's hair just all of a sudden will be on everything? And you're just like, excuse you, what are you doing? Face is set. Now I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow stick from Victoria Beckham Beauty and just put it right in the corner of my eye, because lately I haven't been able to finish my makeup and be done with it if I don't highlight my inner corner. I actually just found another one that's so stunning. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Now we're going to go on with our new eyeliner, and this one is from Tower 28. It's a new shade of their multi-liner, and this is in the shade Color Me Fine. I did not. Color Me Fine. It is so pretty. Let me swatch. I have another shade of this eyeliner or multi-liner in the shade Draw Me, which I love, but this shade is so pretty, and I feel like for summer this shade is just so stunning. So I'm going to line my lid with this, and I'm just going to really messily apply it because I don't really care about it being perfect, and then I'm just going to smudge it out a little bit with my finger. I'm also going to drag it kind of on the outer half of my eye and blend that out just for a little bit more depth. I really like this eyeliner, and the shade specifically, what I say, Color Me Fine. Yeah, Color Me Fine. I really like this shade. It is so pretty, and I feel like for doing a makeup look with just a little bit of something that looks really natural, this is great. And I also feel like if you're the type of person that likes to do like faux freckles, this shade would be, I feel like this shade would be the one, because it's so pretty and it's brown enough, but it isn't red or anything, if that makes sense. It has like a nice mix of like a neutral brown, which I feel like with freckles, neutral shades tend to look the best. Now we're moving on to our lips, and we have a couple of products. The first one is this one from Westman Atelier, their lip liner that they just came out with. I got the shade Sable, and I have their blush in their blush duo, and Sable is one of the shades, and I just want to swatch this because it's such a pretty shade. Look how pretty that is. I feel like it's just really, the shade is just so stunning. So let's line this, and then we'll talk about how I feel about it. You have to let me know what you think of the shade. It's a very, it's not like a super intense shade on me, but I didn't want one. I wanted one that was kind of a more natural lip liner shade. Lip liner is on. What do you guys think of the shade? Again, this is the shade Sable. I have the blush in the shade Sable, and it is so pretty, but I really like this. It's a nice Your Lips, but okay, I have, wait, I don't, my dog's not even in this room, and I'm just choking on hair. Anyways, it is a Your Lips, but better, but also brownier shade on me. I really enjoy this. This is like, I don't know, I love a good lip liner that's natural but just amplifies kind of what looks is kind of your natural lip color. I don't know how to explain it, but I really enjoy this formula. I was actually surprised. I thought it was gonna be a drier formula and one that kind of dragged more, but it's actually a creamier formula. The formula actually reminds me a lot of the Jones Road Beauty, their lip liners, which you know I can't stop talking about, and I'm obsessed with them. This kind of reminds me of that. in the glide, in the wear, in a lot of it actually. This has more of a matte finish, which I do enjoy, but it doesn't dry my lips out. It glides really nicely, which I just love that. I am wearing a little bit of a lip balm underneath this. I was going to take it off, but my lips are so dry today that I was like, we're not doing that. But it glides really nicely. It wears really nicely throughout the day. I don't feel like I'm constantly having to reapply it. I like it with lip glosses, lip balms, even lipsticks. I tried it with their lipstick, and I did enjoy it. It just was more of a matte lip on me, and I don't love a fully matte lip because I just don't. It's too dry on me. Even though their lipstick doesn't dry out my lips, but throughout the day, I felt like the combination, at least on my lips, by the end of the day, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of want to put a gloss on top of this, if that makes sense. But I do really enjoy this. Now we're going to go on with our new lip product. And actually, this is one that I have tried before on this channel, but in a different color. They actually sent me, this is from LYS Beauty, and this is their Glossy Balm. And you know I love that product. And this is in the shade Truthful. And I have really, you kind of twist it up like this. I have really been liking these. They're just so comfortable, and the pigmentation is great. They're just amazing. So again, this is the shade Truthful. Look how pretty those are together. Isn't that such a pretty combo? I love it. Truthful is a very pretty shade. This is a really good spring summer lip shade. It's just so nice. I really like the LYS Beauty Glossy Balms. They're very hydrating and have like a really nice slip to them, but not a slip where it like is all around your face by any means, but it does have a nice slip to it, and it feels really soft, and it kind of smooths out the feeling of dusty crusties, which if you're new here, that just means you're like dry pieces on your lips. It really smooths them out, which is really nice, and glides over them and doesn't cling to them, because sometimes when stuff clings to those, it just accentuates how dusty and crusty they are. And this doesn't do that. It's really nice. It has a nice like kind of sweet scent and a slight sweet taste to it, but it isn't anything crazy. But if that does bother you, this might not be for you, but I really, really enjoy it, and it would just wear so nicely. Now what I want to do is apply some mascara, and then we're going to do just a really quick recap at the end of this, just so that we can kind of get final thoughts, and anything I forgot to mention about a product, I'm going to mention at the end here. So just give me a second. We're going to apply 2 coats of the Jones Road Beauty mascara, and then we'll be right back. Mascara's on. Now let's do a quick recap. The Merit Beauty, their tinted sunscreen. I actually do enjoy this. However, it kind of depends on where my skin is at. I wear the shade 14 in this. It is a little bit dark for my complexion right now, but it is going to be good for kind of the summer warmer months when I have an actual tan. This is, again, I have a little bit of clinging at times. It does get a little bit of dewy, a little dewy in my T-zone, and accentuate some kind of texture on my nose that isn't always highlighted by other products. So I just have to make sure my skin is in a good place, but this is nice. Again, it's a mineral sunscreen, an SPF of 45, and it is a little bit thicker than I imagined it would be. It still feels lightweight. It doesn't feel really heavy on the skin, but it feels more like a true cream when you're applying it. So that's something to be aware of, but I do really enjoy it. Again, it just depends on where my skin is at. If I had to pick between this tinted sunscreen and let's say the Merit Beauty Foundation Concealer Stick or the Versed, their skin tint with SPF in it, I would probably go with one of these and just wear sunscreen underneath it, because I find that with this, it's a true sunscreen. I need to apply a little bit too much, and I feel like with the fact that it has a tint, it can look a little bit makeup-y when I over apply it. And by the end of the day, I'm not loving the way that my skin looks when I have to apply the amount I would apply for a sunscreen, if that makes sense. Then we have the Bloom Effects, their lip and cheek kind of tint product. I love this. This is such a good product. It wears really nicely throughout the day. It does fade. It's still on by the end of the day, but it does fade. It's more of a dewy product, so that's to be expected. If I set it with like a blush or I set it with a setting spray, I'm good to go, and I don't really have that issue. But I really enjoy this. This is great for no makeup day. Then for the CeraCreole, their highlighters, I really like their highlighters. They're just great. I know that they are on the expensive side, but if you are someone who needs a highlighter that is kind of gives a sheen, is a little bit more on the dewy side, is something that isn't going to cling and accentuate texture. It at least didn't cling to anything or accentuate texture on my skin. This is great. They have a nice shade range, which I really appreciate, and the shades are kind of departures of each other, which is nice, especially if you're only going to offer 3 shades. Then let's talk about the Tower 28 multi-liner. I love this. I've talked about this a lot. The other shade I use is the shade Draw Me, and I love it to line my lid. I like it as a lip liner. I also like this shade as a lip liner. It is so nice. It's very comfortable to wear. You can draw on your face with it, make freckles if you want. Overall, big fan, and this shade is nice. Then we have the Westman Atelier lip liner. I actually really enjoy this, and the shade Sable is just so pretty. I really like the combination on my lips with the LYS Beauty, their Glossy Balm. It is just so nice. This is very comfortable to wear. This is definitely going to be one that I am grabbing. Again, it reminds me of the Jones Road Beauty, their lip liners, and I love those. I mean, I have backups of those. That's how much I love those. So this, it's nice that it reminds me of that. And the Glossy Balm, again, love it. Love. It's a good in-purse product, and I actually have both the shades in my purse right now, which is, I get it. I have a problem, which I agree. I do. I need to calm down, but I just love them. And yeah, that is it for my full face of new makeup. I'd love to know down below, have you tried any of these? If you have, what are your thoughts? If you haven't, do you think you're going to try any of these? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.